This is alphacruz83 coming in with a deck list. This is my appropriate Exodia deck 2013, or rather Exodia appropriate deck. The key monster, Exodia. You get all 5 pieces to your hand, you automatically win. It even breaks chains as long as you get all 5 pieces to your hand, which is a harder task than you think. But once it goes through, you're sweet to go. The key trap is appropriate. Your opponent draws a side of their draw phase. You draw 2 cards extra. So the whole deck is based off of giving you and your opponent cards, and at the same time, and you drawing out your Exodia. The key magic is 1 day apiece. Both of you draw 1 card. Neither one of you take damage until the end phase of your opponent's turn. It's so broken. It's a very sweet card in combination with appropriate. And this deck also synchros and exceeds. So it also is defensive and offensive. Alright, let's start this with the 5 pieces of Exodia. You get all 5 pieces in your hand, you automatically win. Ain't nothing else to that. Let's put that white down. I run 3 blue eyes white dragons. They're ghost rare. So this deck also runs 3 white stones of legend. So when I synchro, I bring out the synchro. These are the tuner monsters needed, and I search out blue eyes, so it's thinning out the deck at the same time. And it's level 1, not bad. Sangang. The key card to bring the head of Exodia to your hand, or white stone, depending on what you have in your hand already. And you could also synchro with white stone for armory arm, or an emissary for Stardust, like all 3 of them, Stardust. Which brings my next card, 2 emissaries of the afterworld. You can synchro Stardust with emissary, Sangang, and white stone. Not only that, you're synchroing for Stardust, and you're searching out 2 pieces and a blue eye, thinning out your deck. So I like searching out my pieces rather than drawing them. And the 2 last monsters are 2 max seeds. So your opponent special summons like crazy, activate max seed. You draw cards extra, so you can have the setup. Now for the magics. This deck is heavy magic. You have 3 1 day apiece, like I said earlier, and you both draw 1 card, and neither one of you take damage until your opponent's end phase. So you're good to go for 1 whole turn. And if you have appropriate out, you're drawing 3 cards. But when you first activate appropriate, you do not draw from it. After that, you draw extra cards. 1 day apiece with appropriate on the field already activated, you're drawing 3 cards. You have 2 appropriates activated, you're drawing 5. You get the whole deal. You got 3 hand destructions, same thing. Chuck 2, draw 2, appropriates out, you're drawing 4. You're plussing, so either way, you're getting the whole deal there. And this defense, 3 Book of Eclipse. You're defending your deck from direct attacks and everything, and you're also putting your opponent's face down. On the end phase, they draw a card, and you can activate appropriate. And if it's already activated, you're drawing from appropriate while defending your deck. You got 2 card of consonants. Chuck the white stone to the graveyard. Draw 2 cards, and search out blue eyes. So you're plussing. You're pretty much getting 3 cards to your hand from 1 magic. Once those blue eyes are in your hand, trade them in, draw 2 more cards, you know, the basic thing. Once you have 5 monsters in your grave, you could pay Pot of Avarice, do it again, and draw cards, pretty much. 2 dualities. It's only limited to 2 anyway, so you're trying to search out for appropriate setup and get it on the field. And 1 desynchro for the simple fact, let's say you have emissary, white stone, and a Sangan on the field. You synchro for Stardust. You have desynchro, you play it, bring the monsters back. You're pretty much searching for 4 pieces of Exodia and 2 blue eyes white dragons. And if that's not already game, then you're almost there. So sweet. For the traps, the key trap is appropriate. Your opponent draws outside of their draw phase, you draw 2 cards. And the whole deck is based off of both of you drawing cards with the magics. So, plus card. I run 3. So, Dark bribes to protect your deck from MSTs, heavy storms, and anything else they want to activate. If you feel secure about it at the time, negate it. They draw. Since the last thing is them drawing, you can activate appropriate, or if appropriate is already activated, you can draw from it. So these are good cards to have. Another key card I like is Ultimate Offering. Have this bad boy on the field while you're drawing from 1 day apiece and appropriate. Get all those monsters to the field, synchro, and search out the last few pieces. Rather than drawing, it's better to search. So that way you don't have the possibilities of decking out. That's the 40 card deck. This is my extra deck. You have one Formula Synchron. So if you have a piece in your hand, summon White Stone, synchro for this. Formula, you draw a card and you get the pieces in the graveyard, and then let's say you have 5, you just pot of Avarice, put it back. So Armory Arm, if you want to synchro Sangang for with White Stone of Legend, bring on Armory Arm, search a piece or another White Stone, and pretty much you know the rest. This is for Emissary and White Stone. Synchro for either Catastor, which I love running, or Liberian. Those are the 2 level 5s. And if you already have the 5 on the field, you can synchro for 6 if you have another White Stone. Next turn, just for them to mill, or a level 6. You know, I like to have 1 level of each just in case. Black Rose, blow up the field. Yes, this is Ghost Rare. Black Rose Dragon. 2 level 8s I love running. Stardust Dragon, that's my baby. I love dragons, and all my decks are dragon based with Exodia, of course. You can synchro Emissary, Sangang, and White Stone of Legend to bring out Stardust. And like I said, desynchro, searching out 2 more pieces, which is total 4, and a 2 blue eyes by dragons. An alternate is Scrap Dragon. Let's say you have Sangang, 2 emissaries, and a White Stone on the field. You synchro for Scrap Dragon, search out 2 pieces. Pay desynchro, do it again, search out 2 more pieces, and then Scrap Dragon's effect to pop the last emissary on the field and pop a card on their field, and that's game, because pretty much you just searched out 5 pieces of Exodia. Mistworm, just in case you have 2 emissaries on the field and White Stone. Mistworm, send 3 cards of theirs on the field back to their hand, and you get a 25 B stick. And then you could desynchro and do it again, like I said. That's why I love running desynchro. 2 De Augusto Emeralds. So if you have 2 emissaries on the field, you could overlay. You could do either one of its effect is good in this deck. You could bring back 3 cards from your graveyard into your deck and draw 1 card. So it's like a mini pot of Avarice. Or since you run Blue Eyes White Dragons in here, detach and bring a Blue Eyes to the field and go offensive. So broken. The card hasn't officially come out yet, so I got it from Dual Terminals. Number 50, Black Ship of Corn. Pretty much the 2 emissaries, and send one of their monsters to the graveyard equal to this attack or less, and they take 1,000 damage. It's a good card. Just a staple Utopia, just in case you want to go defensive, negate, and keep going with your combo. Let's say you manage to get both level 5s on the field, which does happen. You can overlay both of those synchros for Tyrus, Keep Up Genesis, which is broken too. Great card. You attack, it can't be destroyed by anything as long as it has attachments. And then you detach at the end, so I think pop a card. So nice. And final card, Thunder and Dragon. You get 2 blue eyes to the field, overlay, detach, destroy all monsters on the field except itself, and attack for 3G. And then next turn you can do it again. It's a good card. And that is my appropriate Exodia deck 2013. Just side decks. I run 2 skill drains for any monsters on the field, like mermaids and shit like that. Stop them, shut them down. 2 soul drains So if I come across Dark Worlds or anything else that like dragons and stuff that activate in the graveyard that could destroy me in one turn, I'll stop them, shut them down for a little bit. And just for the hell of it, the Feather of the Phoenix. I love the Phoenix, the legend of it and everything. So broken. And just in case a piece gets to the graveyard, I could just chuck and bring it back to my hand. That is my appropriate deck 2013. Comment and hope you like.